Alright guys, coming at you with another vlog. Today I am going to be attending the Mission Board Games South League Cup. Today I'm going to be playing a deck that I haven't played before, Dragapult Monkey Dory. However, I am playing a spicy inclusion that led to NAIC two-time champion Stefan Ivanov to a top 32 finish at NAIC this year with the Zoroark package. I didn't want to play specifically straight Pult because I didn't feel that our metagame was very good for it. We have a good number of EV box players. I'm going to be playing this version to try and hit all the meta matchups. Hopefully I don't end up running into too many of the EV boxes or even the Guardies. I'm not sure what's a terrible matchup with this deck. I'll be putting my list on screen. The only change is going to be one air balloon instead of the rescue board, just because the card's better. Just got done with round 2. I'm also going to give you an update for round 1. I played against Sergio Lopez in round 1. It was a Charizard Dragapult deck. He had a relatively slow start, which let me start to figure out the intricacies of my deck. I had a really solid turn 1 where I was able to go attach energy and set up true Dreepies. The next turn I evolved into a double Dracloak, and then the following turn after that I Recon Directive, had 2 bosses in my hand, and I said I'm going all in. Immediately boss Halucha'd, KO'd his only Charmander, KO'd one of his Dreepies. It was a pretty short set because he made Dracloak and he made Charizard, but I stopped myself from taking more than 4 prizes, which made sure that the Defiance Band that he had in his list wasn't very effective against my mainly healthy Dragapult. He had to put down Fez early, which let me boss it up and then immediately soak 200 damage on it. So as long as he missed Turo, I had a easy 2 prizes on his bench. And then I started setting up his extra Dracloaks into being prepared for a massive board wipe turn if I either had Boss to hit it with 5 damage counters on 1 and then 1 damage counter to the Fez, or have enough damage built up on his Dracloaks that I could just go knockout Cloak, knockout Fez, take 4 through whatever body was in his active. Round 2, I played against Kavai. He was on Dragapult, Dusknoir, Pidgeot, which seems like his usual deck. I think at the Cup in Game Cafe, he was playing Golden Go for that, but he seems to have reverted back to what he was on before NAIC. He had a really good start, put down 3 Charmander, Pidgey, and then Duskull, but he had to give me Artisan, which was really helpful because my hand was pretty okay. It was like Dreepy, Dracloak, Ends PP up, Earthen Vessel, Luminous, Enzarua, and Zoroark, which is a super playable hand. And I had won the coin flip, so going second, I was really hoping to top deck like an Arven so that I could go immediately into an Evo play, but I did not top deck a supporter or the Arven for that matter, so I wasn't able to play the game, not on that turn at least. Then he evolves his bench Charmander and attaches to his active Charmander to use Blazing Destruction to discard his own Artisan out of play. So his bench is now Charmander, 1 active, 2 on the bench, 1 Pidgey, and then 2 Duskull. And I was really hoping that I could draw a good card off the top, but then he Iona'd me, and I lost my pretty dense hand of really good resources, and ultimately, whenever I would put down a Dracloak with an energy on it, he just had Boss to KO it. And then at the end of the game, I was stuck with my only Dracloak that had the air balloon on it, which means I couldn't touch Crystal, which means I missed an attack. And he went, I owned him to 2. He had Arven to get Max Spell and Night Stretcher for Dusclops to pop 50 onto my active, and then attached Maximum Belt for 320 to make sure that it was dead. So round 1 good, round 2 bad. I think there were 2 Guardies next to me, so maybe I can play against one of those and use the Zoroark engine more liberally so that I can take out their Gardevoir EX. I'm not 100% sure how I'm going to approach the Charizard-Pidgeot matchup going forward. I would hope that in my future instances where I'm playing against Kavai, I am drawing a little bit hotter than what I was, hopefully opening one of my 8 supporters between the 4 Iono and the 4 Arven so that I can establish a thicker board for my Buddy Poffins. Just a really poor draw for the first set, but we're gonna see how it goes from here. All right, just finished round 3. Played against Luis Martinez, the same guy that I played in top 8 at Game Cafe. This time he was not playing Dusknoir Dragapult. He was playing Pidgeot Control with Scovillain EX. And basically, he was just looking to use a impound or retreat locking attack that did not allow me to fulfill my game plan. Thankfully, I opened Monkey Dory and Zorua, which are probably my 2 cards that I really want in that matchup because Zorua can evolve into Zoroark, which then lets me start trading away all of the basics that I might draw, so that if he does play Erica's Invitation, for example, I don't have any basics in my hands. And then both my Turos were not prized, and neither were any of my Ionos, which made sure that if the game went long, which it did, if I started taking prizes, my Ionos would give me less cards, and as long as my hand didn't get discarded out by Zoroark's Machinations, I'd be fine. At some point, I had a 20 card hand, and I definitely should have Iono'd, because he finally sniped me with a Zoroark at 20 cards, and I had to discard down from 20 something to 3, and the 3 that I kept, thankfully were enough to win the game. I had to discard 2 of my bosses, but then I got to keep a Turo boss and a 1 Iono. So then from there, I was able to make sure to mind how I benched and how I drew so that I could ultimately knock out his benched Latias, as well as KOing his Scovillain after he finally had to use the binding attack, Spicy Chili Vine, that makes the Pokemon not able to retreat and burns it. He played the Festival Ground Stadium to stop the burn effect, but that requires your Pokemon to have an energy on it so that it doesn't get burned. At the very end of the game, he had to Erica's, and he chose to grab my Reshiram, and I just never put down another energy in play. He didn't have the opportunity to use Elgyem, because if he moves an energy onto it, I could just go Energy Turo kill. So yeah, 2-1. Not sure what I'm around right now. I think there might be a Goldango. I really hope I don't hit Goldango. I don't think it's a really good matchup, especially if I can't get on odds really fast and then start abusing Dragapults. But hopefully the Crystal will help carry me, because I don't know if they're playing Picnic Basket. The list that I've seen haven't been playing Picnic Basket, but maybe that has changed, and we will know what I'm playing against in a few minutes, because I believe the round's about to go up. All right, just played against Will Johnson in round 4. This was my top 4 opponent from the Cup as well. So back-to-back Cup. It's like recreating my backcourt right now. I took the win. He was playing straight Pults. Early on in our game, I lost the coin flip, so I was going first. And thankfully, I got a mulligan, which gave me a 1 Dreepy, and then the card after that I drew for my first turn going first was a Buddy Poffin. So I just had a board of Dreepy in my active, Buddy Poffin for 2 more Dreepies, and then Zorua on my bench. I played the extra Buddy Poffin just to get it out of my hand, since my hand was dead, and my best hope out of that hand was to Iono. So I pass after attaching a Fire Energy to my Dreepy. His turn involves him Badooing me and setting up a Dreepy. I was kind of nervous coming into my hand because I drew for turn and it was a dead item, so I was like, okay, well I have to Iono, and hopefully I just draw good cards, preferably like at least 1 Dracloak, so I can go Dracloak and start recon directing since I'm not playing Rare Candy. And then I Iono and I draw 5 supporters and nothing else. And I'm like, oh, okay. This is terrible. So I'm staring at my hand, and I have Jack, so thankfully I can, like, on my next turn, I can go Jack, search out Zoroark, Dracloak, but I can't do that until my next turn, so I pass, which gives him the advantage. He goes, boss my Dreepy, evolve into 1 Dracloak, attach, and then bench another Dreepy. So his bench is basically Dreepy, one of the Dreepies have a Luminous, and then a Dracloak that doesn't have any energy attached to it, which I knew from the mulligan was his ace-spec, Neo Upper Energy. So if I didn't Iono him that turn, he was gonna have Evo plus Neo Upper to immediately start swinging, which would be fine as long as he doesn't have Boss. but I couldn't Iono in that hand because I needed to start establishing my board. I draw for turn, I go Jack for Cloak and Zoroark, evolve both. Make sure that I evolve my Dreepy with the fire energy on it so that it can't get KO'd unless he has boss. And then I recon directive and trade, don't pull anything good, not able to evolve any of my other Cloaks, which is fine. I'm not behind or anything, pass. And then this is where I think he made a big mistake, or at least he thinks he made a big mistake by overextending. He Arvened for Ultra Ball, and then Ultra Balled for Hawlucha, and Hawlucha pinged my benched Dreepy and evolve into Dragapult, attach Neo Upper, retreat into Dragapult, and then he went Phantom Dive for 200 to my active Dreepy, and then 60 on my bench Dreepy. And then my board was super tight because I basically had Zoroark, which was too healthy to one-shot at all, a Cloak with 1 energy on it, which was completely fine, and then a Monkey Dory that had a Badoo damage on it, and a Dark. So my board was pretty much set for the rest of the game, and that let me just set the pace because the turn after that I went into my own Dragapult, attached the Psychic Energy to the Dragapult, and Phantom Dive back for 200 to the active, and then sprinkled the damage counters across the bench because I knew he could have set up a Monkey Dory, which he immediately then Nest Ball, Luminous attach, move 30 to one of my, I don't think he even moved damage because I don't think he wanted to give it to me. I think he'd been watching me all day, so he was able to see that I was playing a second Dory and enough means to go double Dory even from 0 attachments with an energy switch. So 3-1, should be able to ID pretty safely as long as I don't get paired down. I don't think that there's a possibility for me to pair down. I'll take a picture of the standings once it gets put up, and then we will see how Top Gut goes. Again, I don't think I can get paired down, but we will have to watch. Okay, just played round 5. I got the pair down, which is awesome. I played against Aaron Dugan, who was on Ethan's Typhlosion with Pidgeot. Matchup felt terrible. I definitely made a few mistakes. I attached my crystal way too early and didn't have energy attachments in the late game. Kind of really ticked off about it because if I just don't get the pair down, I don't have a terrible matchup, and then I lose, and then my resistance is 2% behind the guy who got 8th. Yeah, I'm angry that it happened that way, but whatever. Good luck to Aaron and Kavai, who I believe is the #1 seed. I'm just gonna go relax. Tomorrow there's another cup at the other mission board games. I'm just gonna start thinking on the positive, take what notes I have from today, and try to learn how to apply them to tomorrow so that when I come again, if I play the same deck again, I will do better than what I did today. I just got home from today's tournament. Again, didn't do as well as I was hoping to do, being the only 3-1 that got paired down, and especially taking what's a pretty rough matchup and then not having the means to finish it out is pretty tough. So that's okay. We're gonna think about how I can take what I've learned today again and apply it to future tournaments if I do run back with this deck, or if I decide that I'm going to just play straight Pult or simply just Zoroark box again. From the tournament, we got a new Pikachu Worlds promo. This one is the art featuring Iron Thorns. This is a card that'll be coming to our local league soon, and they're supposed to be doing a tournament where you can get a reverse holo one in a similar vein to this Colress's Tenacity, and we'll have a winner printed on the bottom of it if you do well enough. I also got this Colress Tenacity from participating today, and then I believe this is the Pokemon Go Professor Willow research promo. It's basically like any normal research, but it has this big box on the bottom of it. I'm not going to open them, I just have a big collection of them. And then I have the Prize Pack Series 6, since Series 7 isn't yet released, and 1 Destined Rivals for entry.